This is a supplemental stream. Mind you, I'm not changing my last stream. I'm adding to it to refine it because I went off the rails a bit and I want to make sure that I didn't miss my point. So my point in comparing the Koberger judge to Judge Cannoni and the way that the courts are run is that they're trying to bring in alternate perpetrators in a Koberger. It's still under review. My whole rant about all of the different DNA and things, that is very true, okay? If there were ever a trial that you should be able to bring in alternate perpetrators, I feel like it should be that. I would imagine that they'd probably have to try to match that DNA evidence. I don't know how or if the defense has that capability. From what I understand, a lot of that, I don't know. The point being that the judge in the Koberger case is keeping a tight ship to the point where he is livid that Dateline ran an episode right before trial. Livid. Why? Because it could taint the jury pool. What has this unscrupulous team been doing for the past 3+ years? Running propaganda, and the media is helping them do it every night, every day, 24 hours a day. They have besmirched good people, innocent people, mothers, fathers, children, teenagers, dogs. They have ruined careers, friendships, some families. They have caused so much tension in that community that I'm honestly surprised more violence has not yet happened. It has been on the verge. I was so fearful for that community during the first trial and into the second trial, especially with the mob of people out there screaming while the jury is deliberating. Karen Reed's been framed. That was Rita, literally right outside the courthouse during deliberations, screaming at the top of her lungs that if this jury doesn't see that she's been framed, there are gonna be problems. It's all over. You can find that. It was literally played on mainstream media. Yet mainstream media is still holding up this woman as some kind of freaking celebrity. Guess what? P. Diddy's a celebrity too. But he did some pretty vile shit. And he should spend the rest of his life in prison. And I think most mainstream media is pretty disgusted with him. But Karen Reed commits murder and they want to just tout her as some kind of superhero and focus on everybody else except the person on trial for murder. They have helped incite anger and hatred towards well-respected people in law enforcement. Brian Higgins saved one of his colleagues from gunfire, got shot, ran into danger to drag him out of the line of danger, and he survived because of Brian Higgins. That's one example. Brian Albert arrested the Craigslist killer, serial killer. He helped arrest a lot of dangerous people. And the mainstream media, along with Alan Jackson, Karen Reed, Alessi, and Little, and all of these social media talking heads, want to put all of them on trial. As if the police officers are supposed to get DNA from every living soul that was ever around any of these people to compare to John's clothing. Guess what? I've got news for y'all. You get your clothing tested right now, you're probably going to have multiple DNA from strangers on there. Why? Because it's touch DNA. Why? Because we shed I don't know how many billions of skin cells every day. 70% of the dust in your house is your own skin cells, folks. I can't remember how many pounds your mattress gains every year from your own dead skin cells rubbing off in your mattress. Okay? So you think that rather than talk about the murder defendants' actual bulletproof black box data on her car that convicts her of murder too, and trust me, there's more data to come. Alex Murdaugh, anyone? Yeah, buckle up, buttercups, because it's coming. They've already proven murder too. They haven't even presented the accident reconstructionist, who, guess what, has a PhD for you socialite assholes who think that the only intelligent people need to have PhDs. And if they have a PhD, apparently it's okay to lie to a court and commit fraud and perjury. You're going to excuse that too. Don't think about common sense at all. At all. He was not hit by a car, and that car did not hit John O'Keefe, right? Because ARCA said it. They didn't prove it. They didn't show us how they came to that conclusion. They didn't show an ounce of work. They said it on the stand, and y'all want to treat that like gospel. Guess what? It's been proven that this entire defense team, along with ARCA, colluded and committed fraud on the court. They lied to the court. You want to be nice about it? You can call it, they did not have the candor that would be appreciated in the court, okay? That's AKA lied to the court, AKA fraud on the court, AKA perjury, AKA crimes, AKA committing perjury and suborning perjury, which Karen Reed's attorneys did. So ARCA committed perjury, Daniel Wolf, and her attorneys suborned perjury. I can't even remember who questioned, probably Alan. Oh yeah, definitely AJ. Guess how much of a sentence? That's 20 years to life in a murder trial. In a murder trial, if you commit perjury and or suborn perjury on the stand in a murder trial, 20 years to life, folks. You think they will be prosecuted? No. Bev barely even told them that they were wrong. But that's what they did. Should they be charged? Hell, yes, they should. I think we all need to be writing to Maura Healey and whoever else has any kind of power in that state. This is despicable and disgusting what these people in power have done. But guess what? The people we'd be writing to, they're politicians too. And they're along for the ride. They're not going to hold any other politicians accountable. And or high-priced attorneys who have political connections and media connections who have just lied. That's all they've been doing is lying. Literally lying. That's all they've been doing. Committing crimes and lying. Okay, so go watch Kohberger's Judge Hippler, not Hitler with a T, Hippler, like I'm going to shake my hips when I dance, okay? Hippler You can watch it on any network. They all carry it. Most of them. Law and Crime and Court TV and things. Okay? Watch what he lays down in his courtroom about what they have to do to even introduce alternate perpetrators. If there's ever been a case where there should be alternate perpetrators admitted, there is at least four other blood DNA that I know of, or 3 at least blood. I don't know if the 4th one's blood. I can't remember. I've stepped away from that case for some time. But I've recently come back into it, and I watched this last court hearing, and I highly doubt they're going to be able to introduce alternate perpetrators to the jury. I don't know. It hasn't been decided on yet. But there's at least 3 other blood DNA in that house, even on that sheath. There's blood DNA from an unknown person. But they found skin cells, and that's who they've been holding in jail for 3 years. Okay? So, in Massachusetts, in this court, they allowed all of these people, all of these witnesses, all of these officers, all of these mothers, fathers, teenagers to be dragged into court and reputations ruined, family connections ruined, friendships ruined, jobs lost, all sorts of repercussions for everybody who was literally trying to help a dying man and or help someone who they thought was a friend at the time, Karen Reed, try to go help to find their other friend, John O'Keefe. They helped her. And in doing that, they've been living in terror under domestic terrorism for the last 3 years because they have allowed this shit to go on in their state. Because Michael Proctor sent mean texts about Karen Reed, because Michael Proctor saw Karen Reed admit that she clipped him in a text message to her attorney, and he got pissed. Now, he can't say that. It was confidential. He stopped looking at her phone and sent it to the taint team, which he's supposed to do. That's why he was pissed, folks. And because he sent mean messages about a murderer who killed a cop, a beloved police officer, and just an all-around good man, he got pissed and said some mean things. So every person has been dragged through the mud and terrorized, except the murder defendant, who's been treated like a frickin' celebrity. What is going on? This needs to stop. This person murdered her boyfriend, and she has had half the country helping her try to get away with murder. It's deplorable. Do better, be better, hold yourself to higher standards, and hold those around you to higher standards, or we as a people are going to be extinct a lot quicker than any of us could imagine. Is this the kind of world you want to leave to your children and grandchildren? You want to help free murderers? Because what? Because she's rich and pretty and has money? So, because she doesn't look like Brian Kohlberger and doesn't have whatever kind of weird attributes that people have attached to him, he should die by the state's hands. But she should be touted around like a frickin' superhero and royalty. Why? Who makes that distinction? And who in the hell thinks that one murder... I mean, are there different degrees? Yes. Should 4 college students have lost their lives? Absolutely not. And if Brian Kohlberger is guilty, better believe, even if he's not guilty, he's likely getting the death sentence. America has all but convicted him already. But mainstream media wants to let Karen Reed go. I mean, it couldn't be more obvious. There's never been a criminal. Show me a criminal case where there has been more factual data, facts, data that you can't dispute. The car data. You convicted Alex Murdaugh. Everybody heard that stuff come out, and it's like, okay, he's guilty. You're getting the same information from Karen Read's vehicle, and you are excusing it. You're still excusing it. You all should be ashamed of yourselves. It's scary. It's scary that you, the people in power, act this way. The people that have the American ear act this way. You want to revolt? You think that you can treat your American citizens this way and you're not going to have repercussions? You continue to blatantly lie to us. You continue to blatantly try to acquit murderers with your lies and propaganda. You see what happens. Just see what happens. This is how revolutions start. You don't think the American people are going to say enough is enough? I have to give all of the people involved in this so much credit. The O'Keefes, Higgins, Proctor, the Proctors family, the McCabe's, Alberts, all of these people. They have not committed any kind of violence. And for the most part, they've kept their mouths even shut. I mean, they're saints. They're absolute saints. They're trying to allow justice to take place where it should in the courtroom. And I mean, after the tragedy and the vitriol and the lies and the in-your-face BS that they've had to deal with, I can't even imagine. I don't think I could have had that much grace if this was my family member. Or my family being terrorized by lies. It's pretty amazing to me. They're saints. All of them. But these people that you're looking at, evil. This is evil personified. Do better, people. Be better. Hold yourself accountable. Hold each other accountable. We need each other. Be the change you want to see in the world. Love and light. Mwah.